So I want to show you this one where you infect your Windows machine and then it can investigate the incident with Velociraptor. So that's one here, 372. So first we're going to infect the Windows machine. Windows Defender is already disabled, so we don't have to do that. But we have to download this file. So I need my Windows machine, which is here. And now I want to run a browser and just go to my instructions inside here because that's the easiest way to do it. Double click. There we go. All right, and let me make this as big as I possibly can. All right, and here, all right, good, it was there and it went away. All right. Instant response, and 372, oops, it was there. All right, investigating a PUP. So we want to infect this machine, so we download this zip file and save it. And it's thinking about it. Okay, now we look at that folder and we're gonna, I got the instructions there, so you right click, extract all, extract, and the password is malware. All right, there it goes. And now we want to run pup4.exe as administrator. So right click, run as administrator. Okay. And now we want to move this thing to the root of C. So root of C is right there. So I'll just drag it and put it on C and let it go. And now delete all this stuff. PUP4 and PUP4 zip. And empty the recycle bin. So that'll be down here. Empty the recycle bin. All right, so now we've got, I think then I have to restart the machine. Let me bring back my instructions. Yeah, then restart the machine and it should pop up this irritating box, which is all this one does. This just pops up an annoying box. Some people like Sans actually use real malware in their classes, but I teach in somewhat uncontrolled environments and I can't be doing that. So I use these simple little fake malware samples. Yes. Okay, good. All right, and now it's going to launch startup processes, and one of them is going to be that little PUP message. There we go. And I'm going to say run it anyway. This is my last warning from the operating system telling me, okay, so now this will pop up every time you reboot the box, and that's the infection we're going to investigate. So let me bring up my instructions in another page because now I don't need to copy and paste any commands. I'm just going to be using the nice GUI in Velociraptor. So we're going to look at auto runs. So we are already connected to the client. So we run auto runs because it automatically runs every time the machine restarts. So this is what auto runs is for. Windows sysinternals auto runs. I think I want the sysinternals one. Yes, okay, good. And I might be able to adjust parameters, but I don't think I need to. Yeah, there are no parameters that matter, so I'll just launch it. And when you launch it, it's running here. You have to click it here to select it, And while you see the hourglass, it's running, and you can go to the log to see what it's doing. So it started query execution. It's making a local temp file to store the data. It's running. It's fetching stuff. It's not done yet. It does this. See, remember, it's all asynchronous. So it sends a request to the server, then it sleeps for 10 seconds waiting, then it sends it to the client, then it sends another request. It's all thinking asynchronously. And now it's done. And it found 1,401 rows of answers. So it got a lot of data. So if I go to results, here's all the automatically launching things on that box. And a lot of them are harmless, but there's 1,400 of them, so it's kind of for the birds to scroll through them this way. So the only way to get to the bottom of it is to download the file, and that's what one of these buttons does. Download JSON, download CSV is the one I'm going to use. Download CSV, and we have LibreOffice Calc. Oh, good. We can open it in a spreadsheet. That'll be good. In my instructions, I thought we had to open it in a text editor like Notepad, but LibreOffice is better. Let's import it into a spreadsheet because then we can sort. Oh, this is good. So now you see description, and we're going to see image path version launch string, and some place is going to be the company. System-wide, execute, enabled, entry. I thought the signature was visible in here. Category. Okay, I'm just going to use the mouse to move over. Okay, the arrow keys. So that was there, the company. That's what I'm looking for. This is the company that signed the software. So if somebody signed it like Microsoft, then it's probably okay. So the only ones I want are the ones with no company. So I'm going to hit Control A to select everything, and then try to sort. Can I right-click sort or anything good like that? Data sort, maybe? Yeah, except it's not going to let me. Okay. In read-only mode, let's edit document. Okay, now it'll probably let me sort it. Control A to select everything. Data sort. Okay, I want to sort by company, which is, I think it's column D. All right, let's go C. It's column E. Okay, so data sort by column E. Oh, good. It has names here. Company. Let's see if this works. Well, company. Okay, now, yeah, it's sorted by company. Great. So now if I page down to the bottom, I'll find the ones that have no company name. They're not signed by any company, and that's likely to be the malware. Okay, so down here, there. And here you see the one that looks suspicious called PUP4 message. So that's one way to narrow it down. And so anyway, so now I've found a process which automatically launches. I see why it launches. It's in the registry, in the run key, and it's in the WOW6432 node, which means this is 32-bit code running on a 64-bit OS, which is also a little suspicious. It's like out-of-date code. So it appears to be PUP4, and the message seems to be, the executable seems to be PUP4 message. So that's possibly the source of the infection, although I don't really know. And so I want to do more investigations to find out more about this process. So we can get the MD5 of the exe from PS list. So if I go here, I can see if it's known malware by running Windows System PS list. And then I can configure parameters. And instead of getting a long list of processes, I'm just going to get the ones that contain PUP. That should be just the one I want, or at least a short list of ones like it. And it's done, and here it found it, and here it gave me an MD5. So for example, now I could just virus total this MD5 and see if this is known malware. That would be a good thing to do. And I don't believe it's known malware because I just wrote it about a week ago. and I don't imagine anybody has already reported it, but I can copy and paste doesn't seem to work very well as usual. Right click, paste maybe? There we go. And I guess it's just enter. Wire is wired. No matches found. Okay, so no, this has never been scanned. It is not known malware. Okay, so that wasn't very helpful. And so the next thing to try is to look at the memory to see if this is really making that box pop up. So that's Windows Triage Process Memory. Right here. This one here will dump the process memory and upload it to the Linux server for analysis. So that's pretty awesome. And again, I don't want a bunch of different processes. I want just the process named PUP. So I launch that. And it will take a minute or so, I think, because it has to dump the memory, which is kind of big, and then it has to upload it over the network, which, didn't take very long at all. Okay, so here we are. It dumped it. Yeah, there's the path, there's the SHA of the memory image and all that jazz. Here's where it's stored on the Windows machine, but we're going to look at it on the Linux machine. In uploaded files here, there it is. This is a path on the Linux machine, but if I click it, I can just download it, which is just moving it from one location on the Linux machine to another into the downloads folder, but that's an easy place to find it. So now I've got this memory dump in Home Students Downloads, and you can check it a variety of ways. The simplest way is to just use strings. So if I find a terminal that's not in use, I can go to Downloads and do an ls, and there's my memory dump. Let's see if I have strings. And I think I do. All right, so strings. If you run strings on that dump file and pipe it to say more, it'll just show you all the readable strings. And that's cool, but we're looking for the word pwned. We know it's popping up an irritating box on the Windows machines saying your machine is pwned, so we want to see if this process is really creating that box. So we would take the strings and look for it with grep pwned. And it's not there. But the problem is it's Microsoft Windows software, and it does not use normal ASCII strings very much. What Windows software mostly uses is 16-bit Unicode because it's an international operating system, and so you got to use -EL to see these long characters. And when you do that, you'll see that in fact it does have the message your machine is pwned. So now we have proven that this is the process that is making that box pop up. And so the next thing would be to find out if more exe files on the box are involved. So you do that with Windows Detection Yara. Yara is a tool to basically do grep matches of things, a very popular tool in incident response. So Windows Detection Yara, NTFS, and we are going to look for exe files containing pwned. So here are the path to the files of interest, and I'm going to take anything that ends in exe. All right, and I want to see if it contains pwned, so I can put what's called a shorthand Yara rule here, wide I say, pwned. Now you could also write a complete Yara rule. If you've used Yara, here's what Yara rules look like down in this box. Rule, test rule, and I don't know why it's not letting me scroll. Okay, there. That's what you have, a description and then a condition. That's a real Yara rule, but I'm going to just use this shorthand Yara rule like that, where I look for that string. So I'm going to look for every file on the machine, and if it's an exe file, I want to know if it contains the word pwned. And the idea is here I'm looking for all the other files that might be involved in the infection. And this will probably take a minute and a half or so to run. You can follow the progress in the log. So this is good to do because if you do something like make a typo, it'll tell you wasn't able to install the rule, but it understood the rule correctly. And here it is scanning files. Now, what's going on is when it fails to open a file, that's because that file is in use. So then it switches to directly accessing the hard disk to see the file, the accessor. So the only thing you're seeing here are error messages from the files that are open and in use. It has to scan 330,000 files, every file on the hard drive, which it's pretty fast to do that in a minute and a half. But it doesn't bother sending a message unless it encounters a problem. Spotify, wow. Why is Spotify on this box? Maybe they have some kind of partnership with Microsoft to be default installed with Microsoft. I would have thought that was a third-party app that would not be found on just a clean Windows box, but shows what I know. I know Microsoft gives you some default music player or something. Okay, looks like 90 seconds, still scanning, but it's moving right along. Okay, it filled the first page of 50 messages, 100 seconds. This is good. When it stops jumping by 30s, it's near the end. Yep, and it found one hit. That's why so this means one hit, and it's still scanning to see if there are more hits. And, okay, time 130. And it's filled another page of messages. All right. I think it's nearly done. You can tell it's still running from the hourglass up there. There, now it's done. And it only found one hit. So if we go to the top and go to results, the only thing it found was this one at the root, C PUP4 message. So there doesn't seem to be any other file with this indicator of compromise. So we've made some decisions, and now there's a bit of remediation. And the remediation is just these three commands. All you have to do is kill the running task, delete the registry key, and delete that exe, and that constitutes cleaning up this PUP. It's a really simple infection, easy to clean. There is a command line available in Velociraptor, but it doesn't seem to work. And in fact, when I read the documentation, they said they were not going to put one in Velociraptor because it was too dangerous. So it looks like they sort of have one in, but it doesn't work very much. So in practice, remediation involves running these commands directly on the client right now, as far as I know. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. And there's another one like it after this that's a little more involved in this one here, 373. You infect your machine with a bot that sends network traffic out. And then you can collect the network traffic remotely with Velociraptor and find the beacons and find out how it's installed. You know, same old thing. It's just the game incident response process. You capture the packets, then you analyze that with Wireshark to read the beacons. And in there you find the command and control center URL. And then you find the DNS cache that has that URL, and then you find Yara rules that will look for files containing that string. So these are files that are creating the network traffic the same way we just did. We're using Windows Search Yara. That finds the executables that are involved, and then you find out the persistence mechanism, finding out how is it that it's launching this using sysmon. So, you know, quite a few more fun things to do here. But I think that's the last demo for today. We'll stick around and help people on projects till 6, but I won't have any more demos.